Hi, and welcome to Real Life with Jenny. My name is Jenny Sanaputtaratna. Grab your favorite drink and a snack, and we will get started. Today, I'm drinking strawberry Ceylon tea, and I really don't have a snack. There are snacks around, but I don't have one. So, let's get real. When I was little, there was a song that we sang as little kids that kind of was a fun song. It was, I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Down in my heart to stay. I think that's how it went. Not really sure. I think it was to stay. Who knows? Anyway, and so today I want to talk about joy. Have you ever watched the beautiful movie Inside? Is it Inside Out? I think. It's a Disney movie, and it talks about the emotions and how joy cannot be the only thing you have in your life. You need to embrace the sadness is what the movie's all about. And I loved it for my daughter. Now, there was some issue, like not every movie's perfect. But this movie really talked about being okay with all your emotions. And as a mom who has a very sensitive young lady who really embraces everything around her and has extreme empathy, I really wanted her to understand that it's okay to have sad moments and it's okay to have joyful moments. And sometimes they're both. We have a lot of bittersweet moments in our lives. And I love joy. Joy is something that we all want more of. Some of the other fruits of the Spirit we're a little more weary about. We're kind of I'm okay without a little bit more patience. Joy is something we all long for. We're all seeking after. We all want more of. And I think it's so interesting that God talks about joy many, many times in the Bible. And really, joy is about future. So that's just me. When you look up the word joy, it means great pleasure of happiness, to rejoice, delight, bliss, rapture, triumph, or thrill. That is what we want. When we want people to see us, I want people to see joy. You don't always see that someone has self-control. You don't always see that someone is gentle, but you can tell a person has joy in their life. Someone the other day, I was talking to them about my young 14-year-old daughter, and she's like, I can see in her eyes how happy and joyful she is. She's got a gleam in her eyes. And I was like, oh, wow, that's true. My daughter is one of those people that joy just has always been something she can embrace. Now, my husband and I are, I remember when we were first dating or first married, I'm not really sure. It all kind of blends together after a couple years. We used to do worst case scenario. So we would look at a situation and we go, okay, how bad could it really get? Can we handle that? Okay, let's go forward. Neither of us are really half glass full people. We try to be, but that was how we kind of started life off. We were making sure that we could handle what the worst thing was and see if, we wanted to go down that path or just emotionally got prepared for the worst. Both of us are not very good at what the definition of joy is. Delight, rapture, bliss, triumph, thrill. Finding great pleasure of happiness, rejoicing. One of the people in the Bible that I really equate to joy is Miriam. If you have never gone through and read bits and pieces about Miriam, she is so intriguing and there are so many fun things. but she was really great at leadership. She led women, which I think is so fun because there are not many women in the Bible that we see leading other women. Not many, there are women that were leading men, but not a lot that were leading other women. And so I really find her super intriguing. So if you have a couple minutes, go back and do some reading back in the Old Testament and read about Miriam. But when they crossed the Red Sea, Miriam led them in song. And I remember, because when I was a kid, they sang a song, The Horse and Rider Thrown into the Sea, I Will Rejoice. And she was so good at rejoicing when it was time to rejoice and finding joy. And that is something Kevin and I are not great at. Kevin is very, how do I say this? He is a task person. He likes to do things. He likes to get them done. He likes to check them on the box and move on. And so we can meet a goal as a family or in the ministry or just anything. He checks that box and he moves right on. There is no stopping and going, woo, woo, we finally did it. This was amazing. We met our goal. You see those huge thermometers sometimes in different places that are trying to raise money, and they have a big celebration at the end once they hit their goal. And, you have a big celebration when you hit your goal for finances or your goal for how many calls you made that day if you're a salesperson, or how many sales you made. We don't take the time to celebrate when we get to we reach a goal or we have a big triumph or different things like that. We are really not good at rejoicing. Now, part of the reason is, for me, rejoicing equals food. Really, it's very, very sad. But my grandmother, anytime there was anything special to celebrate, it was about food. And do I think that's important? Yes, I do. I think food is a big part of celebration, but it's not the only way to celebrate. And since my life now has to be a little more regimented with food than I would like, it's hard for me to stop and celebrate and find joy in the things that God is doing or the things that we accomplish or, those kind of pieces. When Sam was, I believe, first grade, her last day of school, I will never forget this because it's the only time I ever did it. For many years, I made a wreath at the end of the year, and I had a big wreath. I said, congratulations at the end of school. So when she'd come home, she'd see on the door, congratulations. And in first grade, she came inside, and I had found several books that I wanted her to read over the summer. And with each of the books, I had a little treat with it. Like gummy worms for a book about worms, and there was a ballerina, and I made a little cupcake that looked like a ballerina. Different little snacks that had to do with the specific books, and we had like a little end of the year book party. She is a huge bookaholic. She loves to read, she loves to write, and that started at a very young age. Even though she wasn't a great reader in first grade, she loved to listen to books and hear things, and so I threw a little party at the end of the school year. Now, we've made new traditions. I no longer throw a party at the end of the school year, but we do special things at the end, that last day of school. We always make sure we're taking her picture, and we do a little photo session, because there's nothing like having your picture taken. Okay, that's my least favorite thing in the world to do, but, we do that. We used to go and get ices at Target, but Target no longer has ices near us, so that's a bummer. So we've kind of changed that up, but we always try to celebrate that last day of school, that she has her favorite food, and we make sure we go do something, and we have a little photo session, and we celebrate that last day of school. But I am not really good at celebrating my own accomplishments. So many of you know I wrote a book, The Unnamed Zookeeper. If you haven't tried it, you need to. It's amazing. I'm just kidding. And I wrote this book, and I remember the day I finished the book. And I was like, okay, let's celebrate. And Kevin and I kind of looked at each other like, okay, how do we do this? Like, we just didn't even know what to do. I'm not even sure what we did because it wasn't that significant because I just am not good at finding celebration points. Now, what does this have to do with joy? It maybe doesn't. I really feel like joy is beyond natural happiness. It's beyond what the circumstances are doing. Joy is really finding the Lord in the moments of life and seeing his goodness and his love and being filled with his happiness and contentment no matter what's going on. And that's a really, really hard thing to accomplish on a minute by minute, day by day basis. So my whole thing this time is I really want to encourage you to find time to celebrate. Let's be better than I am at celebration. And whether it's a big thing or a little thing. I wrote down, I do a lot of Facebook. I'm a Facebook person. And so I do a lot of things on Facebook just to kind of remind myself later. So I put down the day of independence for me when Sammy was potty trained. I didn't do anything big. I was ecstatic. I was like, this is amazing. Ooh, ooh. Um, but I go back and I see it in my memories. And I'm like, oh, that was such a big day. And I did not take time to celebrate it. There are small things in life that you can celebrate and big things in life that you can celebrate. And I'm getting better. So when I got my last day at North Lakes Academy this year, you can go back and listen to all the podcasts earlier about what happened. But we went out for dinner, which we very, very rarely do. We are so introverted or just so cheap. I'm not sure which one it is, if it's a little bit of both. But we went out my last day and we celebrated and we went somewhere that was kind of fancy to us. I'm not even sure what, Texas Roadhouse. That's where I'm like, where did we go? We went to Texas Roadhouse because they have the best buns in the entire world. Like, I don't care what else you have. That is the best. And so we went there, and I will never forget how just fun it was for me to be celebrating. Something that really wasn't super positive because it was a huge step for us. It was a huge, like, Lord, we don't know how you're going to financially do this. Like, this makes no sense on paper. But we know this is what we're supposed to do. We know we're supposed to do Christ Connection full time without any other distractions. And so we celebrated that. So what in your life do you need to be celebrating? Let the joy of the Lord be your strength. Let that be something that motivates you from day to day. The joy of the Lord. Not joy that comes from everything around you, but the joy that comes from the love and grace and mercy that God gives you should bring you joy. The joy of the Lord can be your strength even in the midst of craziness all around. I know right now you're sitting with a pile of laundry in one corner and a pile of dishes in the other and children running everywhere, and you're going, Jenny, you don't understand. And you're right, I don't. I don't fully understand what current circumstance you're in. But I do know that you can rejoice with one load of laundry being done and find a way to celebrate and thank the Lord for what he's done. Find something this week, whether it's big or small, to celebrate. Whether you go and you get a Rip Your Float, or you go and allow yourself to go to the dollar store and buy, a couple notebooks. That's one of the big things we do. We're like, woohoo, let's celebrate. Let's go to the dollar store and buy some notebooks that I'll lose later. But that's okay. I love a good notebook and a pen. It's amazing stuff. You go out and you celebrate this week. Let the joy of the Lord be your strength. I pray for you that the joy comes in the morning. It can get dark and dreary and you feel helpless. And I am praying right now for you that the Lord's joy would enter your life and that fruit would grow and that you could embrace it and see it and know that God has got big plans for you. So let's celebrate. You can celebrate with us on Real Life with Jenny on Instagram or Facebook. We would absolutely love for you to come join us there. You can find us at Real Life with Jenny. Nope, that's not it. You can find us at christconnection.cc. christconnection.cc/Jen, christconnection.cc/Jen. Find us there. All of my information is there. I'd love to connect with you and hear how the joy of the Lord is becoming your strength. What are you doing today to maybe rejoice in something small?
I pray this week the joy of the Lord will be your strength. Have a great week.